the fitness of this Welsh squad, don't you?
Oh, definitely. The way they're playing at the moment, I think they're one of the form sides from the Northern Hemisphere. They look very dangerous. Even though they're so young, they just seem to be playing with this confidence, and the style of game that they're implementing is very threatening. I think they're going to be a side to really contend with in the knockout stages.
And it's ironic that we talk about the Welsh approach on a morning when there are more bad headlines coming out of the England camp as well.
Yeah, as Gareth said, they seem to be a very settled side. They seem to have bonded together and got on really well in camp. There doesn't seem to be any issues. I think that the players know each other now at this stage, and they seem to have got the right attitude. They're very focused on what they want to do and how they want to progress in this tournament.
Just a bit too early, I'm sure, from your point of view, to talk about Wales against Ireland in the quarter-final, but potentially that's a fantastic match, isn't it?
Yeah, both teams in really good form. I mean, we've yet to see Ireland-Italy, which I think, quite rightly, as you mentioned earlier, that Gervin, that you have right to be nervous about that, but because that's been a big game that Italy has targeted for some time. But if that goes according to form, you've got to think Ireland will get through that. Then the prospect of Ireland-Wales in that quarter-final knockout, both teams in really good form, and is a really mouth-watering prospect.
Take a further look at the Welsh team for us, and more thoughts on Rhys Priestland, who has really played himself into this Welsh side ahead of his club colleague as well, and is growing in stature as his competition goes on.
He is. He's quite a confident. He seems to be a confident player, but I also think there's a lot of good leadership outside him that's helping him through all this sort of stuff. And also, Jamie Roberts has come back to some great form in the centre, and that's a real key aspect for me for Wales when he's, you know, being really big in the centres there and attracting defenders and making busts and offloading there. What that does give is the rest of the team some space. I think it's also very important today, Lee Byrne at fullback. For me, he's got to have a really good game, and what that then will do, if Hook comes back from injury, maybe moving him into the centre and Roberts at 13. George North on the wing. Yeah, he's had an outstanding tournament, hasn't he?
He's similar to Jamie Roberts in the way we use him, but also, like the rest of the team, I think what George North has got is a youthfulness. I want to touch the ball. A lot of wingers we've seen have expected so much from so many wingers, but they've been sticking on the touchline. George North and Lee Harping, you'll see, will come into the field. They'll pop up on the left wing, pop up on the right wing. They're really looking for work, looking to get their hands on the ball.
Yeah, you look at that Welsh side and there's not many weaknesses at all in it. They've got a strong set piece. They can play different game plans. They can be direct up the midfield with Jamie Roberts, and they've got the exciting back three. So I think they've got the all-round game at the moment.
And I think they've got a strong pack. I think it's a great back row. Yeah, we're missing Lydia, but Ryan Jones brings us a line-out option, which is good. Takes the pressure off Bradley Davis and Charteris, and it's great to see Gethin Jenkins back in again, starting again as one. He's been one of Wales's great props.
And Faletau, number 8 there, he's been really dynamic at the base, giving a lot of go forward.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I think we've seen him he's just going his try against South Africa. I think he was part of a back row against South Africa that took South Africa back row to pieces, and that's not an easy thing to do. We see him here. He's a strong runner. He loves running them hard lines and breaking tackles, and he's done that all World Cup up until now.
How many players, particularly out there today, do you feel are playing for their places? You've got the likes of Scott Williams, who scored that hat-trick against Namibia, maybe keeping Jonathan Davis out of that position.
I don't think he'll keep him out of position when it comes to big games. I think Warren Gatland has got his best 15. I think what he's doing here, he's kind of maybe putting a bit of pressure on people and giving people game time. So if they do need to play in the latter stages of the tournament, then they've already played in the games without as much pressure. But I feel as a starting 15, probably the starting 15 that started against South Africa would be his strongest 15.
And I suppose he's trying to keep the squad happy as well. There's nothing worse than having guys in the periphery of the squad not getting game time, and it's hard, especially in World Cup tournaments. You get frustrated, and guys tend to not be a happy camp. So he's giving other players opportunities to impress and have an outlet and play at the weekend.
What's your impression of Warren Gatland? I mean, you've obviously come across him a great deal in your playing career, and the impression he's made on Welsh rugby and the progress that he's made there.
Oh, he's had a massive impact on Welsh rugby. He actually gave me my first cap for Ireland when he was coach back in '98, '99. He's a quiet man, quiet character, but he demands demands of his players, and he's a very astute leader of teams, and he's very tactically astute in his recognition of game plans and stuff like that.
Yeah, also I think he's got a very good crew around him. Rob Howley for the backs, and Robin McBride in the
Sean
forwards,
Edwards,
and then Sean Edwards. He'll do. You said Warren's pretty quiet. Well, Sean will make up for that. So he's got a good crew around him, which is really important.
But more than anything, Gareth, this morning you're looking for a performance of authority. Wales mustn't take their foot off the gas. They're making good progress through this competition.
Yeah, and I think, kind of being on the outside of all this and seeing how this Rugby World Cup is progressing, I think the public, the rugby public, are starting to expect a lot more from Wales, which is good, because I think the pressure that they feel, and not just from the Welsh nation, but from the rest of the world, they kind of like everybody's underdog to get to the final fight. Everybody wants them together because they have this experience and this excitement about them.
Yeah, it's important though. We've seen already this weekend Tonga and Samoa causing problems and winning games against fancied nations. It's important that Wales going forward garner some momentum from this game and a good performance with your eye on the quarterfinals coming up next week.
OK, fellas, thanks very much. We're in the Waikato Stadium in Hamilton. It's Wales against Fiji, and our commentators Michael Owen and Simon Ward.
As the nation mourns an unfit groin, so Wales look to avoid injury and harm in their quest to maintain a winning streak. And they've certainly impressed the watching public with their victories over Samoa and Namibia, and their outstanding performance against the world champions, albeit it fell just short on the scoreboard. There's an unfamiliar look to the Flying Fijians this afternoon. They tell us they're looking to get the smile back in their rugby. They certainly have underachieved thus far. It's not been what the doctor ordered in terms of the Pacific Island teams. Wales, though, certainly have achieved and have impressed, and now they have 1 foot in the quarterfinals. It's just 80 minutes away to confirm their place next weekend. Sam Damoni has decided on a makeover for Fiji's last game. 2/3 of the team are changed, with many unfamiliar names getting their chance. Tangi Thakenbau and Vuli Vuli will provide plenty of threat out wide if they get the ball. The veteran Nicky Little plays his last and 71st match for Fiji. There's 7 changes for the Namibia run out, but notably Scott Williams holding on to his midfield spot. He's joined by Jamie Roberts this afternoon. Priestland back on the steering wheel at 10. Mike Phillips will be his feed. It's a first choice front row powered by Charteris and Bradley Davis in the engine room. Wales' most capped player waits in the wings, and there's a fair amount of impact on that Fiji bench too. Well, of course, before the action can start, it's time for the formalities and the 2 national anthems of Wales and Fiji.
Would you please be upstanding for the national anthems of Fiji and Wales, recorded by the New Zealand Symphony Orchestra and performed today by the New Zealand Choral Federation Anthem Choir.
support here. Real emotion stemming from the anthems and from the stands, ready for this penultimate game in the pool stages. That tradition will continue now as we wait for the Fijians to perform the thimbi, used since 1939. Originally it was a war dance used after the battle. Now it's a challenge laid down before the game. A big crowd here, nigh on 16,000, and lapping up all the pre-match entertainment. What an atmosphere we have for this game. And that atmosphere is just going to be raked up now another couple of notches with the Fijian thimbi. Well, the crowd goes wild as we wait for game 39 of 48, the final match in Pool D. Join us after the break. The Celtic nations completing their pool games today. Wales back at the ground where they beat their bogey side Samoa a fortnight ago. Now back with some more wrongs to right against the Pacific Islands side. The nightmare in Nantes 4 years ago still rankles in the mind of the players and supporters alike. The angst added to by that 16-all draw at Millennium in November. Now is the time to set that record straight. It's a new group of players, don't forget, the majority of which are unburdened by the guilt of World Cups past. They're back in Gatland's garden. The prodigal son has returned home to familiar area. Lee Byrne sending it skyward. Tony Talai skipper this evening. And there's Vuli Vuli. Now you'll notice that George North is wearing 11 there, playing on the left wing. It was a late change from Wales in terms of numbering. Michael, you wonder whether that has been done to counteract the huge physical presence of Albert Vuli Vuli on the right wing for Fiji.
Yeah, possibly. I saw Vuli Vuli yesterday in the press conference, and he is an absolutely massive man. So they could definitely have done that, looking at the wingers Fiji selected. Another factor, maybe the Welsh kicking game as well, and maybe Lee Halfpenny on the right wing can be brought in more there on that side.
Well, you see the breeze, it's going from left to right. As you look at it, Fiji have won the toss and opted to play with the breeze in this first half. Taking in the middle, and Nicky Little, such a key operator for Fiji over the last few years. That's out to Michael Takenbow, and looking inside, and good anticipation from Scott Williams. Williams done well enough in that game against Namibia when, of course, he